I have watched 300 minutes of Arne Slot's Liverpool. He's not just built a team, he's created a winning system. Goals. A wonderkid introducing himself to the big time. The scariest attack in the Premier League.
They'll get on, but if them two can connect, oh my God, Liverpool are more or less wrapped up the title.
Where does his absence leave?
A plan against every formation and every team.
The good thing is we've worked now for a second season, so the players know better and better what we do against the 4-4-2 press, what we do against the 4-3-3 press, against a 5-3-2, 5-4-1, all these different things.
It's his second season, but this is his first. This is his team, the way he wants them, how he wants them to play. It's still a work in progress, but Arne Slot's Liverpool is already dropping major statements at the start of the season. This Liverpool team will find a way no matter what. Bournemouth, Newcastle, and Arsenal. They haven't been convincing in any of the 3 games. They conceded twice against Bournemouth and almost let a 2-goal lead slip. They conceded twice against Newcastle too. What made this one almost much worse was Newcastle scoring twice with 10 men, but in both games, Liverpool somehow managed to find goals in the closing stages of games. This extended to the win against Arsenal. It was not the best game, but they found a way. That's exactly what champions do. They know how to win even when they're not at their best. Yes, Liverpool have had defensive problems, which we'll get to, but the point is they entered the international break as the only Premier League team to win the opening 3 games of the season, even with the issues they've had. Mental. Watching 300 minutes of Slot's Liverpool this season has also revealed a shocking truth. The most important players in that team aren't who you think they are. It's not Mohamed Salah, despite the goals. It's not Virgil van Dijk, despite the leadership he brings at the back. While these two are very important, relating specifically to his system, there's a duo that must play together for Slot to get the best out of his team.
My thought process is that these two are incredible in these positions. So I rate them higher in these positions than Trent. Trent is good in this position, but I rate them.
The same idea from last season that he's carried into the current campaign. For Arne Slot, maintaining the balance that both Ryan Gravenberch and Alexander-Arnold Mac Allister bring to this team is very important. It's no surprise that they looked much more compact in the win against Arsenal than they did in the opening 2 games against Bournemouth and Newcastle. Why? Because the duo wasn't available. Against Bournemouth, they looked too open in transitions. It became easy for Bournemouth to bypass the Liverpool midfield because Gravenberch wasn't available. When he was available against Newcastle, the trio of Sandro Tonali, Joe Linton, and Bruno Guimaraes outworked Liverpool's duo of Gravenberch and Florian Wirtz. Why? Because they lacked an Alexander-Arnold Mac Allister who could provide interceptions, as well as the ability to pop up in half spaces in midfield. There are a lot of changes to be expected with this Liverpool team now, but seeing the opening 3 games, these two either have to start or remain a constant, because without them in midfield, the team looks open. But maybe it's part of Arne Slot's plan, because watching the team he's built this season so far, maybe there's an angle he's coming at that no one's realizing yet. Just before we get into it though, hit that subscribe button to Football Historia if you haven't yet for more content like this.
Cup final, of course.
Okay.
Went down in the first round, the fourth round in the FA Cup, and were beaten on penalties by Paris Saint-Germain, so that still hurts a little bit.
He mentioned this after the defeat to PSG last season, the fact that his Liverpool team remains so constant that he was hesitant to make changes to the team. Rotation only happened when select players, and to a certain extent Liverpool, became predictable last season. He wants to change that, and he's already showing that certain players can play in positions we didn't expect and still produced insane performances. It doesn't get any better than Dominic Szoboszlai. He was sensational in the game against Arsenal. He had a 92% passing accuracy, a 100% tackle success rate, won 3 out of his 4 duels, completed 5 recoveries, 6 clearances, and 10 passes in the final third. Oh, and he played the game at right back too. What a shift. It's a position not many people believed he'd be able to play given the type of player he is. A hard-working, smooth operator who plays his best football in the zone just behind the centre forward. But in the 2 games he's featured at right back, Szoboszlai has been excellent. Against Newcastle, he was equally as impressive. 4 clearances, 4 recoveries, 100% tackle success rate, 10 passes into the final third, and that assist that he doesn't officially get. But everyone who watched the game knows the goal came down to him. On the whole, it's suddenly a new dimension that opens up for Arne Slot. He's already got right-backs in Jeremie, Frimpong and Conor Bradley. But if needs must, he can okay Szoboszlai into the role and know what to expect. Squad rotation is going to be a big feature for Arne Slot this season, especially in attack. There's a question that dominated the headlines immediately after the summer transfer window closed.
Are the two strikers who are most similar?
Who does Slot start up front? British record £125 million signing Alexander-Isak or £79 million Hugo Ekitike? It's a question that Arne Slot may not need to answer, because judging by his tactics this season, it will solely depend on how he sees the game. There are a lot of possibilities with these two. Slot already made it clear at the start of the season that they needed more new faces in attack. Luis Diaz left for Bayern Munich. Darwin Núñez was sold to Al Hilal. Add this to the unfortunate passing of Diogo Jota, and suddenly that Liverpool attack was depleted with 3 big names already gone. Adding Isak and Ekitike to the mix increases the depth, but it does so much more, because with both players, Slot has different layers to the attack. Alexander-Isak is proven Premier League quality. Goals? He was the second highest top scorer in the Premier League last season with 23 goals, only bettered by Mohamed Salah with 29. Then you look at the type of goals he scores. Long-range bangers, tap-ins, headers, side-foot shots, left and right foot. Add this to his ability to run into channels and work across the front line, knowing how to receive the ball in wide areas and in the box as well. It's an insane package. It also means that on first glance, while he's expected to play in the number 9 role, Isak wouldn't be confined to that role. It's the same with Hugo Ekitike. While he might not exactly have the same goal-scoring stats as Isak did last season, 15 league goals is still more than any Liverpool attacker bar Mohamed Salah. Ekitike has already proven that he can play for Liverpool in the league. He's already gotten off the mark this season for goals and assists. Just like Isak, Ekitike isn't going to stand centrally and demand the ball. We've seen him drop deep to get involved in the action and link play with his teammates. We've seen him come wide to receive the ball and take on opponents. His goal scoring is expected to get better. So what's the deal with these two for Slot? Well, he's got 3 options. He can either decide to rotate them, meaning Isak comes in for Ekitike and vice versa. He can decide to play one out wide, meaning Isak can play centrally and Ekitike plays on the left, or vice versa. Or the other solution, which would be really interesting to watch, Arne Slot changing his shape to a 4-4-2 to accommodate both Isak and Ekitike into the lineup at the same time. This would be mental, especially considering that we've already seen how good a player like Ekitike is with a strike partner alongside him. His combination with Omar Marmoush at Frankfurt was a headache for teams in the division, before it was broken up after Marmoush left to join City in January. The point is, just as we've seen with Szoboszlai, having both Isak and Ekitike offers different possibilities for Slot, which ultimately means he has more ways of breaking teams down now. Having these two also shows he wants to fix something he noticed last season.
But not on does he miss a chance, yes or no, but on top of the work rate during the week and during the game.
When he talked about not having 3 Mohamed Salahs in his team, what Slot meant was the dependency of having just one main goal-scoring threat in the squad. He tried to change this in the 2024-25 campaign. That's when he played the likes of Luis Diaz out wide, but in closer spaces to goal. That's when he kept Cody Gakpo primarily as a left winger, instead of using him centrally at times like Jurgen Klopp did. The results? Both Luis Diaz and Gakpo had the best goal-scoring campaigns of their careers in a Liverpool shirt. At times, he had to sacrifice part of that work rate to get Salah scoring more. But now think about it like this. This isn't to say that Slot is going to drop Salah from his team. That's far from it. But the point here is that with Isak and Ekitike, we're again mentioning 2 players who scored more goals than any other players in the Liverpool team apart from Salah last season. He's got even more goal threats now, which means that when Salah isn't performing or isn't at his usual standards, he's got the luxury of calling on other players to perform and even tweaking the team to give Salah a rest, something he couldn't really afford to do last season. With all the talk about new signings though, 2 players on the team will feel like fresh faces, despite playing for the team last season. The hero at St James's Park for Liverpool. 5 days before he turned 17, Rio Ngumoha came off the bench to score the winner for Liverpool in the 100th minute. Beyond that, it's clear that Arne Slot has a plan to integrate Ngumoha in the team. He already gave the kid minutes in pre-season, and in turn, he showed that he can more than step up. He's quick, fleet-footed, can get past opponents with dribbling ability, and as we've seen, he can score goals. It's a total package that will excite every Liverpool fan. The fact that for players like Ngumoha, they didn't have to spend. It's a player that spent a year at the academy setup to understand just what it means to play for the club and is now performing. In the same way, there's an old face who had a fresh point to prove this season. Federico Chiesa, energy. That goal against Bournemouth on the opening match day means he's already scored more Premier League goals for Liverpool than he did in the entirety of last season. Chiesa looked like a player destined to leave the club in the summer. Instead, he's chosen to stay and fight for his place. Credit to Arne Slot, he's prepared to give him minutes. It all just adds up to the idea that this Liverpool team is very competitive right now, in almost every department. Isak and Ekitike as central striking options, Cody Gakpo down the left, but he's also competing with Federico Chiesa and now Rio Ngumoha for a place in the team. Salah on the right, but at the same time, Jeremie Frimpong can play there. In that zone 14, the half space just behind the centre forwards, he can use the likes of Florian Wirtz, Dominic Szoboszlai or Curtis Jones in the central attacking midfield role. Shift down to midfield, and even though we've just highlighted the importance of Gravenberch and Mac Allister as a duo, he's still got other options in there. Wataru Endo is a traditional defensive midfielder who can play as a right-back or centre-back. The likes of Szoboszlai and Curtis Jones can play there. He can even throw it to academy prospects like Trent and Stefan Bajcetic if he's given minutes. Shift to full-back positions and it's the same thing. Milos Kerkez brings more energy at left-back, but when he needs to, Slot can rely on the more experienced Andy Robertson. At right-back, it's Jeremie Frimpong and Connor Bradley, but as recent games have shown, Dominic Szoboszlai can play in the position too. Even down to the goalkeepers, Alisson Becker still remains number one, but after losing Quivin Kelleher to Brentford this summer, Liverpool have strengthened with Georgi Mamardashvili and Armin Perche. Almost every position seems sorted. Now, we say almost because there's one area that even Arne Slot admits he still wants his team to get more names in.
We would have liked to sign him, of course, because we were in for him, and he was, like I've said many times, if we can feel we can strengthen the team with a chance in the market, we never hesitate to do so.
Now, Slot doesn't deny it. It's no secret that Liverpool was heavily interested in signing Marc Guéhi. The deal seemed to be all done, only to collapse in the final few minutes of the transfer window. With the current contract situation of Ibrahim Konate and Virgil van Dijk, now 34, Slot must be thinking long-term in looking for new names at centre-back. He's already added 18-year-old Giovanni Leone from Parma, but Guéhi would have been a more experienced addition for the now rather than the future. Still, as Slot's team has shown this season, I expect them to find ways to win despite the odds. The odds heavily favour Slot this season, and he knows it can easily work against him. After the success of last season, Liverpool is now not only the favourites to win the Premier League, but per multiple reports, they're also the favourites to win the Champions League. They'll be competing on 4 fronts this season: the League, the Champions League, the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. To compete, Slot knows he needs a big team. That's what he's done now. Created a superstar squad where he's spent money to assemble unpredictability, but at the same time a team that guarantees results. Still, there's an overlooked element of Slot's Liverpool team: the tactics. They're similar and yet different. He's not just modelling one man, he's modelling 3 famous managers. Click the next video to find out the overlooked truth about Arne Slot that nobody is noticing.